Reverend Sister Flora Mary, our beloved Principal Dr. Sister A.S.T. Lucia Rose, Deputy Principal Dr. Sister Shibana, Director of Self-Supportive Courses Sister Mary Joyce Baby, Controller of Examination Dr. R.Q. Mary, HODs, Deans of various schools, my colleagues, friends, scholars, participants from all over India and across the globe, a very good afternoon and hearty welcome to you all. It's a great pleasure indeed for me to welcome you all to the International Webinar on Theory Building Research, organized by the Marine Research Forum of St. Mary's College, Thoothukudi. I accord a warm welcome to our renowned speaker, Dr. Kabali P. Subramanian, who took his valued time out and joined us today to be a part of this webinar. He is an assistant professor at MBA program of Faculty of Business Studies, Arab Open University, Oman, and adjunct professor, VIT University, India. He holds PhD in management from Alagappa University. He honed his knowledge and skills in management from various prestigious institutions, which include Oxford University, UK, IIM Kozhikode, IIM Bangalore, Tapai Management Institute, Manipal, and Blue Ocean Strategy Regional Center, Malaysia. His research interest lies at the intersection of digital business strategy, entrepreneurship, and innovation. He is passionate about investigating theories and theory building in strategy and innovation. At present, he is the principal investigator of the project developing a conceptual framework for transforming higher education digitally in Sultanate of Oman, funded by Research Council of Oman. He is a member of Academy of Management US, International Academic Forum Japan, strategic partner of Blue Ocean Strategy Regional Center Malaysia, funding member of Oman Logistics Association, and life member of Indian Society for Training and Development. His consultancy and training interests include business strategy, business innovation, digital business transformation, and startups. He has trained about 500 senior managers across different countries of the world. He has a list of corporate clients from Oman, UAE, US, and India. I listed some of his clients: Oman Fisheries, Sweets of Oman, Al Siraj Group Oman, Pisa Muscat Oman, Al Jalil Group UAE, Warfare Technologies US, Kings Group India. He was also part of the organizing committee and member of international conferences and workshops. His initiative, AOU's first Strategy Practitioners Conference 2017, bringing some of the top-notch strategy professionals from corporate of Sultanate Oman, was appreciated by the industry practitioners as a unique initiative. He has organized many executive education programs, workshops, and research development programs. It is an honor and privilege for us to have you with us today. Hearty welcome to you, sir. I'm happy to welcome our secretary, Reverend Sister Flora Mary, who is the backbone in guiding and motivating us in all the ways with full enthusiasm. Welcome, you dear sister. I take this opportunity to welcome our beloved principal, Dr. A.S.T. Lucia Rose, who has distinct vision and is a fountainhead of illuminating ideas, an idol of knowledge and experience and inspiration to all of us. Welcome, you dear sister. I am delighted to welcome our deputy principal, Dr. Sister Shibana, who has been the motivating force to the student community. Welcome, you dear sister. I welcome the Director of Self-Supportive Courses, Sister Mary Joyce Baby, Controller of Examination, HODs, Deans, faculty, scholars, and student participants of our college. I am happy to welcome the participants from other states and abroad to this webinar. We are truly delighted with your presence through online. I hope the webinar will be productive and worth your precious time. I warmly welcome you all again.
Thank you, ma'am. Enthusiastic welcome. Dear participants, Kindly post your queries in the chat box along with your name. And now with the time to hear from our resource person, Dr. Kabali T. Subramanian, Faculty of Business Studies, Arab Open University, Oman. Hearty welcome, sir. And over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Amala, for that wonderful, and I thank I'm sorry. Is it okay now? I hope it's okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. One more, Ms. Amala. And thank you, Dr. Jocelyn, for your kind introduction. I also thank Reverend Sister Flora Mary, Secretary, Dr. Sister Lucia, Principal of St. Mary's College, and also Dr. Reggie for organizing this very interesting international webinar, and I'm really privileged to be part of this. I hope I do some justice to this program. And also, I'm really, St. Mary's is close to my heart for the simple reason that I hail from Tamilnadu, Thoothukudi belt. So it's always close. One more opportunity to support the institutions in my hometown. With that, let me go into the presentation today. And I also thank all the participants. I think 100+ participants are there. I thank all the participants for taking time out to be a part of this evening in this research webinar. Okay, so today's presentation is going to be on theory building research. So fundamentally, what I'm trying to do is trying to share with you my story, my journey of theory building research, which started 3 years ago. Of course, it's only baby steps. So I'm going to share with you where I started and how I reached here. Number one. Number two, my main focus is on make researchers appreciate why theory building is important, because I strongly believe in 3 questions: why, what, and how. So I'm going to use this framework, simple framework, to take this webinar forward. So let's start with I'm going to share my simple story. As of course, in the introduction, they have highlighted some of my work. So I'm going to suggest you, particularly, I'm more interested in young, researchers and academics who are going to start their academic and research journey. Of course, with due respect to senior people, because you have accomplished a lot. So maybe this may be an additional, but what my focus is more on young researchers and academics who are starting their journey. So if they understand this well, they can have a great career. And we are at a junction, at a point in time in the history of the world, a great opportunity to build theories from India, particularly. I hope most of you are from India. Of course, some of you have joined from other parts of the world, but maybe Indians. So this is a great opportunity, particularly for Indians and Asians, to develop new theories. I'm going to explain why in a few minutes. Then let me focus on what is theory. So why theory and what is theory, and then finally I'm going to give some inputs on what are the how to build theories. Of course, I'm also in the journey of building theories, so therefore I'm going to share my experience and also people whom I'm collaborating with. So this is what my plan is. Is everything okay? Audible? Can we move on?
Yes, sir. Audible. It's audible, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope you are able to see my screen presentation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have 1 hour time. That is what I was told. I'll try to make it as short and crisp as possible. Of course, even though the number of slides are more, but I'll run it through. Don't worry. So, as I was introduced, I'm working for Arab Open University, which is part of a large university, a global university with 9 campuses across the world. I'm with the Oman campus, and our partners are the Open University UK, which who are pioneers in research, particularly in certain areas like systems thinking. So they are the pioneers. They are on par with universities like Oxford and Cambridge in systems thinking. So these are some of our campuses across the world. Okay, so as introduced, I work with Arab Open University. I'm also visiting adjunct professor at VIT University. Okay, the context of today's topic is there is a great need for academia industry gap. So this has been time and again, it is being debated. So the basic question is, for whom we are doing research and where our research goes and sits. These are fundamental questions. Are we doing research, academic research, which is going to just sit in some journals and books read by a few people, or are we going to make an impact on this world? Now, what do you mean by making an impact on this world? Are we going to make some contribution which is going to inform the world, particularly hailing from business background? So I look at how I'm going to contribute to industry. That's very important to me. Instead of just writing a very great paper and read only by great scholars, and then of course they are contributing. There is no doubt about it. But there is a great call from the industry that we need to make, and there is a reason. For example, when we look at some of the developed countries, developed world, where I visited, Europe, be it Europe or be it Americas, there the industry follows academia. For example, when industry have a problem, they go to academia. They expect the academia to do some research and provide some solution. But in India, I see it's happening, but very in few elite institutions. And they also do research only for the top tier industries. So my question is, can we do some research which can inform industry at all levels, be it mid-level, be it small or micro level industry? So this is the secondly, the National Education Policy 2020 highlights the great need for application-oriented research because the focus is on innovation. Today, the educational institutions and universities need to be entrepreneurial and innovation focused. Even they are coming out with multidisciplinary research university kind of things. So all these things are pointers towards how our research is going to be more application oriented, more insight oriented. Now here you may wonder, the theory and application, are they going hand in hand? Because general assumption is that theory is something different from the practice. But this is where I want to, my last 3-4 years of journey, wherever I go, I try to highlight. First, we need to understand theory as academics, number one. Number two is we need to make the industry understand. The problem is the industry believes that they are practitioners, and we believe that we are researchers, and they believe that theory and practice won't go hand in hand. So this we need to break. It is our responsibility. Wherever I go, in my training programs, in my consulting assignments, I start with what is the link between theory and practice. So this is, I just want to highlight. And then there is going to be a great disruption in education post-COVID world. So particularly, the education in the normal format, in the present format, is going to be under big question, which means that we educators, we academics need to redefine our role. So there comes the opportunity for research and consultancy and training, because as I was introduced that I'm a teacher, I'm a trainer, I'm a consultant, and a researcher. So I fully endorse that view, and I fully appreciate that view that an academic should be four-dimensional: a teacher, trainer, consultant, and a researcher. And I try to be in every space possible. For example, I'm a consultant for a large corporate in Oman. I'm consulting in strategy, innovation, and digital transformation of that industry, that company. And I also do executive education programs, even in Thoothukudi. Last summer, before COVID, 2019, I think, summer, when I was there, I did a program for CII, Confederation of Indian Industries, on digital transformation of businesses, digital business leadership, where some of the top corporates from Thoothukudi participate. And also, there is a lot. AI and ML is going to play a very important role in research. So there is a big question of the human intelligence and artificial intelligence, right? But I see the future of collaborative intelligence. When human intelligence, of course, nothing can match human intelligence as of now. The present artificial intelligence is very, very what should I say, primitive stage. So long way to go. But I always believe in collaborative intelligence, where human intelligence meets artificial intelligence. And the whole world is moving towards new paradigm. So this gives us a lot of opportunity for us to do some thought-breaking, path-breaking research. This is where I said, you are in a very young researchers in their early career, you are in a great advantageous position, because this century, 21st century, is going to be defined by Asia. Asia is going to lead the 21st century, particularly living in Asia. You have a great advantage. Now, why I say so? The last century, 20th century, was defined by Americas, and 19th century was defined by Europe's. So when you look at history, most of the theories came from Europe's and America. So when the happening is going to be in Asia, the new theories should emerge from Asia. Already we have a lot of indicators from China that they are doing very well in developing new theories. Even one of the cover page articles of Harvard Business Review, recent articles, suggests that American scholars started saying Americans need to learn marketing from Chinese companies. Why? Because the future belongs to Asia, so we need to adapt to their approaches which are successful in this part of the world. Because pastly, when you look at any literature, we find a lot of input from particularly management and marketing from Americas, because that was happening. 20th century, the happening place was America. So logically, when 21st century is going to be in Asia, the new theories should emerge. So my simple question is, are we ready for that? Because when I look at the research happening in Asia, particularly in India, what I found is mostly we are testing theories. We test theories. So even there is it's not only an Indian phenomena, it's going to be it's a global phenomena. I'm going to show you some evidence. One of the Academy of Management, which is supposed to be the top-notch journal in the world of management, the editor suggests that there is a great need for the research guides and the scholars, to understand and appreciate theory. This is very, very important. And if you want to publish in top-tier journals, it's a basic requirement. Unless and until you make a theoretical contribution, it's very difficult to go into top-tier journals. So this, I have understood very late in my career. Of course, I'm in the mid of my career. That is why I took this as my mission, to go and tell my young scholars, my young academics, my young research guides, that at least now it's time. And it's very ripe now. As I said, being an Asian century is a great opportunity for you people to go and build new theories. Like how Michael Porter's and Clayton Christensen's of America develop theories for the world. Be it a competitive advantage, be it theory of disruptive innovation, be it C.K. Prahalad's, fortune at the bottom of the pyramid, be it Professor Govindarajan's reverse innovation. These are some of the theories which are redefining the world. So this should happen in India. That is my wish, and that is my prayer. So with that, I am going to go into my little journey of how I got into this, theory building research, just to give you a snapshot. So as I said, I recommend this model to all my young academics. Please, And there is no choice for us, because post-COVID world is going to be very different. So there, as an academic, when you are claiming yourself as just a teacher and a researcher, it may not be helpful, because universities and higher educations need to develop new revenue models. So unless and until you're entrepreneurial, it will be very difficult for us to survive. So therefore, we have to focus on consulting very little, small companies, medium-sized companies, micro companies, and then also educate them, through which you can generate new revenues and you can also contribute. So when I just to share my, I'm not a great researcher in some standards, right? But I've done something. So this is my, the project which I lead, research project, where I'm developing a conceptual framework along with my colleagues for transformation of higher education institutions. Actually, this I presented in 2018. Okay, post-COVID, has sealed it. So the COVID has sealed it. COVID becomes, after post-COVID is going to be digitally accelerated world, particularly in higher education. So this research is going to be more relevant today. And then I do a lot of executive education programs. This one is the one where, it was in Thoothukudi, very much in Thoothukudi, the place where the college is, where I did for CII. And these are my past consulting executive education clients. And I do consulting. Presently, I'm consulting a large corporate in Oman. So this is not to just, tell about myself. This is to tell my young scholars and academics that we need to be rounded 360 degree, academic 360 degree, that is what I call, so that we contribute meaningfully and we become an entrepreneur. Being an academic, you can also be an entrepreneur. You can make a lot of name, fame, money. Okay, I'm going to show you a very classic example, right? So this is where you have to put. So it should be all integrated. Your research should inform your consulting. Your consulting should inform your research. Your consulting should inform your executive education programs. Your teaching, your executive education program should inform your teaching. So when you get into this loop, each one adds a lot of value. So this is where real, academics is all about. So this is happening in India, top tier, but we need to bring that culture into at all levels. That is my aspiration. That is why I'm here to share some of my experience. So I also teach, of course, I teach the business strategy and business operations modules in my program, MBA program. Okay. So far you see all here, the people here are all talented researchers, I know. So you might have done a lot of research. So you know how to do research. But here I just want to make an appeal to you. Now let us discuss where to focus your research so that the real value it comes out of that research. So that is my intent. Is everything going fine so far?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So this is a very simple model by Colloquit, which is published in Academy of Management. So look at here. So taxonomy of theoretical contributions, mostly we say we are here, that is testing theories. So we need to go towards building theory. So this is what real building is, and we need to expand. Okay, so these are the spaces where we need to operate. Okay, so my intent is to create awareness about theory building research. Of course, some of you are very well established researchers, I know, but those who are young, early career academics. So this is my intent. Of course, I'm pitching to them. Okay, so those who are experienced researchers, please, you can compliment if you want to share something from your experience. You're welcome, because together let us guide our young academics and researchers. To motivate and inspire young research scholars to pursue theory building research, to build teams of theory building. I do have another intention of identifying.
2021 வந்து சாதா பார்க்கணும் இப்ப இதுல இருந்து இந்த இது வர வருமா ஃபுல்லா இது வராதோ அப்ப
Hello, Miss Subhadharniya.
இப்ப வந்து இது
Miss
மட்டும் தான்
Subhadharniya.
1 3 5 இவ்வளவுதான் வரும் இந்த 1 3 5 இது உள்ளதானா கரெக்ட்டா ஆமா 18 ல உள்ளதுதான் மேம் அது அப்ளை
Subhadharnika.
Okay, thank you. To build teams of theory, so I'm looking for some good collaboration with young scholars about theory building. Of course, I'm going to start with my own disclaimer that I have not built so far great theories, but I am on my journey. So those who are interested in joining my journey, please, you're welcome. I'll pass on my email. You can mail me. We can start our journey. Of course, theory building is a very long play. It's not going to happen overnight, but we need to get ready for that. So that's my intent. To facilitate support theory building efforts, yes, even we have launched, I'm going to show you later, we have launched a forum, a platform. We call it as International Theory Building Research Forum, where we are going to support good theory building efforts in terms of financial support, in terms of collaboration support. We are going to do that. And to build theories, that is our intent, to learn from learned participants here, to make you as a multi-millionaire, if not multi-billionaire. Okay, so that is the. So I'm going to start with a case, inspiring case, research leading to millions. Now, why I'm putting this slide first? Because normally we say that theory is a very research general. Theory is a very what should I say, dry. No, it can be exciting in terms of money, name, fame. Look at some of the America's top academics. They are all they're all representing great boards of great corporations. They make millions of money just by sharing their idea. For example, be it Professor Clayton Christensen. Just he came out with one theory of disruptive innovation. That's it. All along, of course, he's no more. Recently passed away. He was my guru, and he made millions. Not only it's not money about money. It's making an impact on this world, on corporations, right? So one idea. So this is what we are going to learn. So we are putting a lot of effort, but where we are putting that effort means a lot. That's what I want to share. Their stories which can inspire you. So this is a story of a group of academics about they started the journey of building theory about supply chain management. So building theory about supply chain management, some tools from the organizational sciences, Ketchen and Hult. So they started. So what they did, they were approached. In fact, very interesting is they were approached by this company called Raytheon, which is America's one of the leading defense manufacturers. They went to these professors. Of course, they had some basic what do you call credibility. So they went to them. They said, "We want your theory to help us in bidding a multi-billion-dollar venture." So they were surprised. These professors were surprised. How come you believe that theory can? No, they were industry. They were very confident. So see, that is where the understanding of theory is very much important. Now, what is theory? When we understand, yes. So theory is nothing but, of course, what they did is they did some research along with their collaborators, and they came out with a framework, which the Raytheon presented to the funding agency, and they got billions of projects. So that is what the story is all about. So this I am highlighting for simple reason that even $1 billion corporations projects can be informed, can be guided by theory building. Okay, so that is the story. So here, this is the one Fortune 100 company solving a supply chain management challenge. So theory is all about solving a problem, providing. So theory is nothing but trying to figure out or represent a complex situation in a more simplistic way, which creates value. So this is my initial pitch. Later we are going to add this. So they garnered $11.2 billion contract. Look at this. So that is the power of theory. Look at that, academic theory. Although we were skeptical, the professors themselves were skeptical about academic theory, but the company believed, and finally they got it. Okay, so this is their work. So just leaving it here. So after that, what happened? They became very popular academics. So after building, so here, what are the simple learnings? Number one, we need to solve some real life problems. Number two, work closely with the industry. If the industry is not coming to you, please go to the industry. That is what I do. They never, because I'm also a budding academics. So people may not know who is who, Kabali. So I take every opportunity to go and meet industry, to go and talk to the industry people, whatever I do research, I go and share with them. So that is how I got these consulting assignments. To be specific, I got this consulting assignment when I just addressed a group of talent managers. One manager was, interested in my idea. Then he took me to his company, introduced to the CEO. Rest, I bagged a consulting assignment where I'm generating revenue for my university, and they are also happy. So there's a lot of money. So if other things are not exciting you, if money excites you, then this is the one. But my take is, if when you do some meaningful research, it's going to make an impact on this world. Please remember, my friends, first we need to believe, like, the Halt and Ketchen, even they were not, believing in theory, but whereas they say that, the company believes. So first of all, we need to believe in the power of theory. So according to Kurt Lewin, he asserts that there is nothing so practical as a good theory. So it's our responsibility to understand that. And okay, so my just recent experience, this is what, about my theory building or my research in the new area of digital transformation. So in 2017, I attended a conference. So I heard somebody talking about exponential technologies. I went and did some research. I published 2 papers, very simple papers, not a great one, I would say. Then started sharing the knowledge with industry. Then, parallelly, I developed my own capabilities in digital business through Columbia Business School at MIT. Then I did some couple of executive education program, revenue generated for my university, consulting opportunity, and recently we have presented our, framework for digital transformation of higher education in British Academy of Management conference. We got some good review, and then we are working on it. So the aim of this presentation is what theory is and what is not. Where do new theories come from? Why do we need theory? How to consume theory? How to build a good theory? Who are involved in building theories and when to build theories quickly? So as I said, a disclaimer, I have more questions than answers. Of course, this is a call for, for the journey towards theory building. So we can travel together and explore more. My motivation is, we are voracious consumers of theory, right? Every business teacher, every commerce teacher, when they walk into the classroom with a textbook or a research paper, it's all about theory. And we teach theory, right? So we need to understand how these theories are formed. That's more important. As researchers, what do? We take theory and test it in our own context, but we need to shift our focus from theory testing to theory building. That is why I'm here, to make that call. Right? So first we need to understand how theories are built, where from the theory comes, then that will motivate us. For example, that Halt and Ketchen was a great motivation for me. Yeah, how we need to look at theory. So my first, what should I say, engagement with theory building is thanks to Professor Clayton Christensen, my guru. When I read the paper, The Cycles of Theory Building in Management Research, I got zapped by some of the ideas. Along with Paul Carlyle, he wrote this paper. Please, if you want to understand about theory building, please read this paper. You'll get great insights. This is where I started. Then, when I was then I started doing a lot of research. I found was the article I mentioned about in Academy of Management Review. The editor's comment says, "What I know that I wish I knew then." The meaning is that the editors, who are all very senior people, they believe that after so much of experience, they believe that this, if I would have understood this in my early career, it would have been a different experience. This is what we try to do for you, the early career academics and researchers, right? So please try to go and explore what is theory building. That can change your life and the world forever. So there is a shift towards Asia, emerging economies. So you need to link, for example, these some of the cases which are informing the world. There is a great, strategy in strategy research. The Chinese are doing very well. Look at the number. Asia region, 610 is 72 out of 106 theory papers, and India only 13. So it shows that China is going very move fast. India has to catch up. Developing theory from strategic management research in China. A lot of evidences. Look at that. This is very important. Right? West meets East. New concepts and theories. This is what I was just mentioning you. Today the shift is towards the East. So therefore we need to have new theories to inform what's happening in America, what's happening in India, what's happening in China. who else than us can inform the world? Because 20th century belonged to America, they were informing us, we were on the receiving end. Now it's happening here in India, in Asia. So we need to inform the world, right, about what is the management, future of management research. So a lot of indigenous management research in China from engaged scholarship. So what is engaged scholarship? This is an approach to theory building. Okay, those who are interested in theory building, engaged scholarship is an approach. What is that? You collaborate with a practitioner. To be put simple, you collaborate with the practitioner, because you look at great theories. For example, some of you might have come across balanced scorecard, which is by Norton and Kaplan. Professor Kaplan is a Harvard business academic, and Norton is a practitioner. It's a great combination. Came out with a wonderful theory. Similarly, Professor Vijay Govindarajan of India is a US-based professor. He has contributed to reverse innovation in collaboration with GE, the practitioners, General Electric. Okay, so he came to India to develop. He helped the GE to develop a new, ECG machine, right? And basically, he's a management professor. He was contributing in the field of innovation. He's not a tech guy, right? So he created contribution of innovation, and they developed something new. And then he came out with a theory called reverse innovation. What is that? So when something happening in an emerging economy at a lower cost, the learnings can be taken to developed economies. So this is a very simple two-line theory. That's it. To get this two-line theory, you need to do a lot of research and insights. So this is here. When you read this, you'll find there is a great need for So theory is all about phenomena, right? Any phenomena you can develop theories about any phenomena. Only thing you have to have that rigor. That's it. That's the key. When we approach it very rigorously, you can end up with a set of statements. I always see the theory set of statements. For example, when you look at reverse innovation, what is that? It says simple. The organizations can go and experiment in emerging economies and make a product for emerging economy, and then learn from that and then bring it to the developed economy to inform. Let me give a small example. Tata Nano is a great experiment, right? Suppose if you are a researcher, if you work with Tata Nano team, you would have understood, right, how they try to reduce the cost of Tata Nano. Of course, Tata Nano also has all the parts of Rolls-Royce, which is the most expensive car. So what Tata Nano can inform Rolls-Royce? Maybe it can inform some of the ideas which can help reduce the cost of Rolls-Royce, or reduce the cost of Toyota or BMW. So this is what he calls it as reverse innovation. So this became a new theory, which informs innovation, world of innovation. Similarly, disruptive innovation. It's a great theory by Clayton Christensen, right? So when you go and read such theories, you'll understand, you'll get inspired. So I started my Arab, journey in 2017. I just made a small presentation based on research, and my fellow colleagues, loved it. So I started, presenting it to different forums in Alagappa University, my home university, and then VIT University, then Middle East College. I presented, and SDM IMD, which is a business school in Mysore. So, and then again Arabakuna University. Now, why I'm showing this, and also many webinars. Why I'm showing this is, wherever I present, there is a lot of interest, which was giving more and more interest and confidence to present this idea about theory building, the need for theory building. So this was the Harvard Business Review I was just mentioning, where look at the 74 what Western marketers can learn from China. This is a classic example of how the world is moving. So therefore, the same thing is true for India also. There are a lot of things happening in India, a lot of experiments. So on one side, there are a lot of practices happening. So academics closely work with the industry, synthesize it. So what is theory? Theory is all about synthesis of the world, synthesis of different ideas and presenting it in a more palatable form, more interesting form, and more informing. So theory should be able to help describe a phenomena, help explain a phenomena, help to understand a phenomena, and more importantly, predict the phenomena, the outcome of the phenomena. That's the highest form of theory. So if you're able to predict, for example, theory of disruptive innovation, Clayton Christensen was able to predict what will happen to some companies if they are not going to look into this phenomena called theory of disruptive innovation. There is a very interesting case of Intel, where the Andy Grove, the then CEO of Intel, was informed by Professor Clayton Christensen about this theory, and he came out with a path-breaking for Intel, a product called Celeron processor. Otherwise, when you look at the theory, you'll find otherwise Intel would have been like whatever happened to Kodak or whatever happened to other companies would have happened to Intel. So the right time they introduced a product based on this theory of disruptive innovation. So let's look at some of the world-class theories. Already I mentioned few, so I'm going to rush through. Competitive Advantage by Michael Porter. Another great strategy professor. Emergent strategy. Professor Clayton Christensen. That was Henry Mintzberg from Canada about emergent strategy. This is Professor Clayton Christensen. This is what I was mentioning about theory of disruptive innovation. So look at this. His actually interestingly, this is his PhD work for your information. And very interestingly, many of us we do research at much younger age, so we don't appreciate the theory part of it. This is my understanding. I may be wrong, but when Professor Clayton Christensen, he did research at the 40s after having worked in industry, so he brings a very interesting combination of experience, industry experience and academic orientation that created this theory. Believe me, my friends, this is his PhD work. What he did is simple. He took one industry, the heavy equipment industry, and he went deep. So this is again another lesson for theory builders. Theory building is not going to happen overnight. You have to struggle, but it is worth struggling, right? So what you need to do is you have to look at the industry for 100 years, about a phenomena, any phenomena. Here the phenomena is innovation. Look at another theory in strategy called blue ocean strategy. You might have heard of this blue ocean strategy. I'm also a practitioner, right? Professor Chan Kim and Rennie, of INSEAD Business School, they did a path-breaking work. Again, when you look at their work, so it all started with, looking at 100 years of business history. They started with one paper called Value Innovation in Harvard Business Review. Today, it has become a system. From value innovation to blue ocean strategy to blue ocean shift, this is their work. So throughout their lifetime. So another interesting thing about theory building is, once you build a theory, right, rest of the life you can either you modify the theory or defend your theory, and that's it. And you will be remembered forever by the world. So it's not just money alone. You can make a very positive contribution to the world, impact on the world. This is what I was just mentioning about reverse innovation, right? Very simple model. Look at that. To develop this kind of simplicity is more difficult, So because this informs the world, this brings a lot of clarity to the world, the way in which we look at the world, right? So this needs a lot of pain and hard work, right? So this is based on his experience with GE in India about developing a low-cost ECG machine. So this is what I was mentioning about blue ocean strategy. Balanced scorecard, again, a combination of an academic and a practitioner. And again, another classic example is our own Professor C.K. Prahalad, Coimbatore Krishna Prahalad. We should be proud that he's an Indian, Tamilian from Coimbatore who rocked the world of strategy. Along with Hamel, Gary Hamel, he's a student. Hamel is a student. So both of them, they came out with a lot of theories about core competence and all. Look at this. This is a young chap. He's also, again, this is also his today world over in the startup space or in the enterprise space, entrepreneurship space, business model, canvas is being used. So this is what which is now guiding millions and millions of entrepreneurs, startup founders in the world. So look at that. This is also his PhD work. So this kind of work we are talking about, not just few papers and then our 300 pages of work. In fact, I also did the same thing, right? But now I understood, I realized it much later in my life. So I want to pass it on, this experience, to my young scholars and academics. Right? When you are doing some work, take 2 more years, 3 more years, no problem. Do some path-breaking work. Possible with the kind of connected world today. You have collaborators across the world, right? So this is one of my recent theories, which I found very interesting from Ming Zheng. He's the Chief Strategy Officer, former academic. From China, lived in America, came back to China, joined Alibaba. Rest is history. He created a new theory called data intelligence plus network coordination is smart business. So your theory should be as crisp and as simple as possible. Of course, this is all I'm talking about the major theories, the path-breaking theories, which are, but it's the destination. It's not a destination. It's a higher level goal. But when you move towards that, there are many steps. Yeah. So that is what I said. It's a journey. We need to start and then move towards that. That's my. All the above are millionaires, and so maybe billionaires. Some of maybe billionaires. So who wants to be here? This is my next question. Is everything okay so far? Hello, my dear friends.
Yes, sir, you can proceed, sir.
So the question is why now? As I said, when you look at the economic history, this is the time of Asia. So you need to pick up fast. Asian century. India is going to be an economic superpower. There's a great opportunity to work closely with industry and be part of that. So the greatest opportunity for any academic is to work closely with industry and then synthesize their experience and convert into theory. This is my simple recipe, my simple suggestion. This is my understanding, right? So you have to work with industry, or you observe industry, as Professor Clayton Christensen did. Look at 100 years of business history, like Chan Kim did. Look at 100 years of business history of any industry, right? Go deep into it, add rigor to it, and then come out with some synthesis of few pointers which can inform the future of industry or world. This is going to be, so there are opportunities to build more theories. So what is theory? A coherent set of, look at that, group of tested general propositions. So we always start with hypothesis, which means we always start with theory, make hypothesis and test it. This is one path. But we start with general propositions. Can you develop general propositions based on observations, based on data, right? So, and then you regard it as correct and then use the principles of understanding. It helps us in understanding, explaining, and predicting a phenomenon. So theory is all about a phenomena. So it's a set of general propositions you are going to present. And then, of course, it's a whole host of things you are going to do, but I'm just putting it small. Simple. So this is one great example of theory of disruptive innovation. So what he did is he observed innovation as a phenomena, right? When he found that the companies are moving away from the customer needs, and at one point in time they were keep on innovating. So this is a simple theory. Look at that. Only 4 statements which explained the innovation phenomena more crisply, more with clarity, and which informed the world. Many companies follow this model to not to be disrupted or to disrupt others. Both the way can happen. So when they move away from the customer needs, there is somebody from behind closely follow, and then the customers will move towards them, so they get disrupted here. So this is a simple framework, but very effective. I skip this. So why theory? Theory helps to understand, explain, and predict the outcome of phenomena. Okay. Right. So there are a lot of phenomena we can focus into. See, everything around us is a phenomenon. Be it learning, employability, you name. There are millions of phenomena happening around us. Whatever you do, even you can think of a phenomena like why somebody likes someone. Anything around us can be a phenomena, can be put into research, and then you can build a theory around that, a model around that, a framework around that. Yeah. Of course, models and frameworks are all part of theory. Okay. So a body of understanding. So theory contains 4 essential elements. Look at that. So alternatively, when you look at this, according to Wetton, he says theory contains 4 essential elements. What? The factors in the theory, how the factors are related, why, explanation of underlying dynamics, and who, where, and when, the boundary conditions. Look at that. So it's all, according to Wetton, you reverse it, you'll find a methodology for theory building. What is that? You take a phenomena, you ask these questions. What factors are there? How they are related? And why they are related? And finally, what are the boundary conditions? Who, where, and when it is happening? That's it. You build a theory. Of course, it's not as simple. It needs a lot of rigor. But to put it very simply, simple. This is itself is a methodology. Even I can show you some proof. I can show you some methodology where says you ask these 5 W's and 1 H, you go deeper into it, you will end up in a theory. So Christensen says a body of understanding, statements of causality, Okay, so the question is, why do we need theory? Everything we do is rooted in theory. Please remember. So theories are going to inform practice. So it works this way. Theory informs practice. Practice informs theory. For example, I'll give you an example of balance scorecard. So balance scorecard, Professor Kaplan wants to develop something, some idea about how they measure performance in organization. He didn't have any clue. So this is a great example of how an academic without any clue get an insight from the industry. So he was just talking to many practitioners. He found even he did not have answer. His question is simple. Research question is simple. How organizations measure performance? That's all. So he was talking, and everyone was talking about financial parameters. But one fellow called Art Schneiderman gave an insight. Professor, in our organization, we use a method, but we don't know whether it is right or wrong. But it works for us. He was very curious. So one of the very fundamental thing about being a theory builder is you need to be curious. Look at that. So he was very curious. He started investigating it. But that man was practicing but doesn't know how to convert into theory. But this man knows how to, Professor Kaplan knows how to convert into a theory. That's it. That's the magic. So what he did is he went and got that idea. Even he gave the name. He called it as corporate scorecard. Then later he calls it as balance scorecard based on revisions. And for your information, nobody knows Art Schneiderman today. Everyone knows about Kaplan. But actually the original idea came from Art Schneiderman. So the thing is, a lot of things happening around you in Tamilnadu, in Thoothukudi, in Tamilnadu, in India, in Asia, in the world. So you take an area where again here I want to present a theory and again a model to you. First, you need to develop a deep interest in certain phenomena. For example, I'm very much interested in strategy, innovation, and digital acceleration of businesses. So you have to develop certain interest towards, or you identify where is your interest lies. Again, this I draw from a Japanese theory called Ikigai. Of course, in India also there is we don't have any dearth of philosophy. But this is again one more very interesting point. We have a lot of philosophies, right? But which we just presented as philosophy without having without having adding more validation into it. So then it becomes just they simply say this is all hearsay. But when you put a rigor into it and validate it, then that becomes a theory. For example, this Ikigai. So let's say 4 questions. They say whatever you want to pursue, purpose of your life, 4 questions. First, choose whatever is interesting to you. Second is choose whatever not only interesting to you but you are capable of, right? Because we believe that we are capable of research, and then identify your area of interest in the research, and then figure out whether it is useful for the world. And 4th one is whether people will pay for it. So when all these questions, all the answers meet at a point, that is the core. So same thing you can apply. Identify your area of interest, the phenomena you want to investigate, right? And then develop capabilities in theory building. That's very, very important. Here I want to make this statement, because many of us, we want to build theories, but are we, even see, we have not only in India, in Asia, I have evidence that some of the top editors, they say many of the PhD programs are across the world. They don't give more weighting in terms of methodology for theory building. Instead, most of them are directed towards theory testing. So therefore, this is a high time for us to question those assumptions and then make some changes in our even PhD curriculum programs, where we need to add theory building as a very interesting space where people can explore. So there is nothing more practical than a good theory. Experience never simply speaks for itself. This is what I was telling you. The industry practitioners, they experience it, but it doesn't speak for itself. You need a language, right? You are going to provide that language. And that language, just simply put it in a formal language, may not be acceptable to the world. You need to add rigor. You need to put that in the right way, the methodology, and then you arrive at like business model canvas, theory of disruptive innovation, or a balanced scorecard. Then the world will follow it. Why do we need to build theory? There are a number of things. For example, career, yes, very important. Advancing knowledge, theory building is the only path. And then you want to publish in high index, high impact journals. Yes, only theories they entertain, and it's the lenses through which we see the future, right? So there are many Why do we need to build theory? Theory is abstraction of a complex phenomenon. That's it. You put it simple. So how far you are able to abstract the reality, which informs about the phenomena, about the future of phenomena, and also which is very easy to assimilate. That's very important. Again, a complex phenomena, your theory should not make it more complex. It should make it more simple for people to. So it's all synthesis of experience. Another way of looking at theory is synthesis of experience. So any experience can be synthesized and drawn some conclusions. That can be theories. But only thing it has to, again, as I said, go through that kind of rigor which brings it. What are the personal benefits of theory building? Madam, how much time I have? Anybody is watching time? Please help me. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Anybody is minding time? How much time we have more?
Already it's 3:30, sir. You can complete it within some. You can take your time for 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay, okay, nice. Okay. Let me go directly into the. So this is theory building and testing. So there are induction and deduction. Okay. So let me go to some of the methodologies which we can. Okay. So any phenomena can be converted into a theory. There are a number of theories around us: social, psychological, medical, biological, legal. So we consume theory. Okay. So here, look at this. This is again another just interesting theory I want to present how it is converted into. See, learning, we have been observing learning for many years, right? But when it comes to the internet age in 2000, somebody like Professor George Siemens, he came out with a theory called theory of connectivism. This is a new philosophy in learning where how our learning is impacted by. So as the world changes, there is a great need for new theories. Okay, so I'm skipping all these things. Okay, so what is theory building? It is an ongoing process of producing, confirming, applying, and adapting theory, right? It's a description and explanation of a phenomena which is verified and refined. So your theory should give you insight. So who build theories? That's a very interesting question. So that, as academics, you don't think that we are the only people. There are consultants and practitioners. So my suggestion is you collaborate with practitioners and consultants because they can give you a lot of insights, and with your research skills, you can build new theories. So how to build a theory? So I'm going to present this simple model, okay, as one model, of course, one of the model. This is where I got zapped towards theory building by Professor Clayton Christensen, 2008. So the process of building theory, he says observation is the first part of theory building. So observation, curiosity, and then categorization of your phenomena, like how Professor Clayton Christensen categorized innovation as sustaining innovation and disruptive innovation. And then you try to figure out the correlation between the outcomes, and then you try to investigate. So this is the descriptive theory part of it, and then you move into the prescriptive theory where you try to figure out what causes what and why. This is the fundamental of theory. Okay, and then you create under what circumstances that theory is valid and in what circumstances it is not valid and why. So that is the complete journey of theory building. This is okay. So as theory builders, you always look for some anomaly. So anomaly is what? When everything is moving in one direction, if you find somebody is moving in another direction, that is where your focus should be. Like how they created Blue Ocean strategy, where when every company is competing, some organizations stop competing. Oh, what's this? That created their curiosity, and then it ended up as Blue Ocean strategy. So these are some of the models where you can, So one of the interesting, many approaches to theory building. One is theory building as looked at as constructing, stories. Shepard and Sudabi says you have to. It's like constructing a story around a phenomena. There should be some main characters, a narrative setting, an event sequence, and a plot and theme, which is imagined in a disciplined way. That is where the rigor comes in. So this can lead to a theory. This is what Shepard and Sudabi I strongly recommend. And again, another methodology is grounded theory method with Glaser and Strauss, right? So he gives us some how to discover theory from data. Okay. It's not moving from theory to testing, but from data to propositions. And then this is what I was suggesting. Veterans 1989, they developed an approach called questioning: what, why, how, who, where, and when. When you start asking this question with regards to any phenomenon, let's even take COVID, right? COVID-19. When you just ask these questions deeper and deeper, you may end up with some interesting theories, to inform the world. So we need more theories. You know why? Because the world is changing very fast. Look at that. See, we are talking moving from globalization to deglobalization. So then there is a need for new insights. Post-COVID scenario, how it's going to be, right? So does theories need to be global? Not necessarily. For example, and very interestingly, this is a great opportunity, because when you look at some of the global theories, they looked at a very general space of domain, like innovation and so on and so forth. For example, there is a theory called rentier theory in economics. So it is about how the countries which are blessed with natural resource behave as an economy. This is the question. You know who asked that question? It is not the Americas or Europe's. It is asked by an Iranian scientist. You know why? Because Iran is based on their oil. So therefore, their scientists asked this question: how their government policy will be. So that became a theory called rentier theory on economics. So the behavior of governments which depend on natural resources. So this has to be regional, right? Because there is no great global interest for this. So the point I want to drive is, don't think that all theories need to be global. Even there can be a theory for Tirunelveli, can be a theory for Tamilnadu, there can be a theory for India, right? So there is an opportunity. So once we understand what is theory with more clarity, I think that gives us enormous opportunity to look at everything and convert everything into a theory. So this is what I was mentioning. Hossein Mandavi, 1970, an Iranian scientist who created this rentier theory or rentier state theory. Okay, what are other theory building methodologies? Case studies and field research, pragmatic, empirical, engaged scholarship, indigenous research, quantitative data analysis, and many, many. So these are all methodologies. So I suggest you to, when you want to, when you have interest, when you have developed interest in theory building, please go and read a lot of literature, as we researchers do always, right, on theory building. I think, I sure 100%, I'm confident that it will completely change your perception towards research, 100%. And we are here to support you. Like you, I'm also a fellow traveler. Take me as a fellow traveler, and we are connected to the world of great theory building researchers. So we can work together. We can get some good collaboration. If you need if you got stuck up in any of the spaces, we can bring some good expert advice. Okay, together we can build theory. So this is I'm taking this as my personal mission in the space of research, that I need to go and tell as many people as possible about theory, why theory building, and what is theory, how to build theories. Of course, if there is an opportunity present, these are all again other methods. I'm just putting up a list of methodologies and tools where you can look into it, right? And there are now, one thing is very interesting about COVID is, now there is great opportunity to meet people across the world, in touch of a button. So I've been watching the research space in India. There is a great traction towards theory building. A lot of people started talking about theory building. So it's a great sign. I welcome you all to the world of theory building research, and let's travel together. As I said, again, I want to stress, I have not built so big theory so far, but I'm going to do that in the future. That's, I'm confident. So I'm just making an appeal to my young academics and the researchers, to take this very seriously. It's a great opportunity, right? And it's a great, satisfying, venture. Okay. Wish you all the very best. Thank you. So just before closing, I want to introduce. We have formed a forum called International Theory Building Research Forum. It's www.prf.org. You can go and check yourself. Of course, it's in the initial stages. You can become a member of our community. So together we can build great theories. Thank you.
ஜோஸ் மேம் ஏதோ ஓபன் பண்ணாங்க, எதுவும் சொல்ல வந்தாங்களா? சொல்லுங்க.
Thank you, sir.
My
Everything
pleasure.
we do in life is rooted in hearing. Sir, it was very happy to know how to focus the meaningful research. Thank you, sir. Thank you for making us to realize the unlearned theory is all about the synthesis of the world. We are happy to realize this statement, sir. And there is no, there are some questions in the chat box.
Yes.
One question from Ed. So wait. One question from Edwidge Rosemary is how to apply theories in research.
Very nice. So application. Thank you. Am I audible? Yeah. See, theories are the and we are trying to test theories, right? So theories will inform new theories. Theories are the fundamentals of any phenomena, right? And when you start, suppose you want to build theory in innovation, you need to start researching all possible literature in the innovation space and then look at the world. As the world moves forward, right, these theories sometimes may not explain the new developments of this world. That is where you have to identify, right, what is my contribution, how I can help this new phenomena by developing my own theory to inform the world about this phenomenon. So as the world moves forward, the existing theory may lose its relevance, right, to explain that new phenomena, that new world, or phenomena in that new world. So therefore, there is a great need. So always we have to start with the foundation is theory. So start working on it, and then focus. My suggestion is focus on methodologies, theory building methodologies and rigor. So combined, it's a great weapon. Yes. Any other question?
Only one question, sir, is there in the
Okay.
chat box. Participants, if you have any questions, you can ask now. Participants. Thoothukudi ma'am, your screen is presenting.
Okay. So again, since no questions, let me give you my
Sir,
yeah.
one more question.
Please.
Can we apply theory building methodologies in science, sir?
Why not?
Yes.
Why? Actually, in fact, we are learning a lot from pure science. Yeah. So all see that's what I said. When we try to understand what is theory, it will give a lot of clarity to us. So what is theory is try to explain. For example, in the physical sciences and the chemical sciences and the biological sciences, how our body works, right? So when you start exploring and coming out with statements which can explain, help, and predict, that is what the biological scientists they do. The medical professional researchers they do. How our body reacts to a particular phenomena. So any phenomena can be researched. So immaterial, irrespective of whether it's social science or pure science. In fact, social science learns a lot from pure science in building new theories.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other question, or can we conclude?
Gratitude
Could you
is a
kindly
powerful
share the
catalyst
link,
for
please?
happiness. May I request Dr. S. Diloman Reddy, Assistant Professor of Commerce, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening to one and all gathered here virtually for this international webinar on theory building research. I joined it here to thank each one of you on behalf of Marian Research Forum, St. Mary's College, Autonomous, Thoothukudi, Tamilnadu. First, I thank God Almighty for showering His blessings upon us to make us grow intellectually through virtual mode even during this time of Corona. I would like to thank our beloved Reverend Secretary, Sister Flora Mary, Dr. Reverend Sister Lucia Rose, Principal, Dr. Sister Shibana, Deputy Principal, Sister Mary Joyce Baby, Director of Self-Supporting Courses, and Dr. R.K. Mary, Controller of Examination, for their tremendous support, encouragement, and motivation in organizing this international webinar. Then I thank our eminent guest speaker of the day, Dr. Kabali P. Subramanian, founder, International Theory Building Research Forum, and Faculty of Business Studies, Arab Open University, Oman, for sparing his time along with us. Really, your session enlightened us with your thought-provoking insights to the budding researchers understand the academia and industry gap. We, as a researcher, I assure you, sir, that the research will be fruitful with theory-building concepts in research. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
A special word of gratitude to Dr. P. Jocelyn, Research Coordinator and Associate Professor of Zoology, for her courage, encouragement, and interest in bringing this webinar a successful one. Thank you, ma'am. I also render special words of appreciation and gratitude to the Marian Research Forum committee members for their efforts in executing the webinar in a perfectful way. In a special way, I thank Ms. Patricia, Assistant Professor of English, for her technical support. Thank you, ma'am. Without you, this webinar won't be a successful one. I thank all the participants for showing interest to our webinar. I hope you all had a great time along with us. Thank you all, dear participants, for your active participation. Research is to see what everybody else has seen and to think what nobody else has thought. Let us all flourish the world with research. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful. It's a great opportunity to meet a lot of young academics and researchers. Thank you for this opportunity. I thank every one of you who participated. Thank you.
Thank you, Reggie ma'am, for your special words of gratitude. Dear participants, a kind reminder, fill up your feedback form to get your e-certificate. E-certificates will be sent to your mail within a week. Once again, I thank you all. I thank you all for connected here. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you. See you. Bye.